assembled devotees here, the many senior devotees here, which is very humbling to speak in front of all of you. But I'm just doing this as my service. So please give your input wherever necessary and correct me for any shortcomings I have. So today's verse is 18.34. यया तु धर्म कामार्थं धृत्याधायरयतेऽर्जुन प्रसंगेन फलाकांक्षी धृति सा पार्थ राजसी. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. By that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification, is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. Purport: any person who is always desirous of fruitive results in religious or economic activities, whose only desire is sense gratification, and whose mind, life, and senses are thus engaged in the mode of passion. So, in this particular verse of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is again discussing about three modes of material nature. This particular topic of three modes of material nature is very, very important. So important that Krishna is dedicated whole chapter, chapter 14, called Three Modes of Material Nature. And even after that, in this particular verse, in chapter 18, we see as a conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, there are so many verses where Krishna in detail describing different activities, determinations, faiths, everything in three modes of nature. And very importantly, we need to understand that this is very much applicable in our life, and we all are controlled by three modes of material nature. All our activities, everything that we see around us is influenced by all three modes of material nature. So in this particular verse that we are going to discuss today, Krishna is talking about a determination in mode of passion. So the earlier verse was discussed in that Krishna spoke about determination in mode of goodness. This particular verse in determination of in mode of passion, and the following verse it will speak about determination in mode of ignorance. Now we need to understand what sort of determination as a devotee we should have, and what is in the actual determination in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So the verses after these three verses, they talk about what sort of activities and results do we get in these three modes. So activities in mode of goodness, they are very troublesome. They felt very troublesome in the beginning, but they are nectar in the end. Whereas the activities in the mode of passion, they're very sweet or very nectaring in the beginning, but they are painful at the end. Whereas the activities in mode of ignorance, they're painful in the beginning and painful in the end. So just like we see, a lot of things that we do are very painful in the beginning, just like studying, just like doing exercise, following a right kind of diet, or devotional activities, chanting the holy name. It's very, very painful for someone who starts doing it, but it is tremendously beneficial at the end. Whereas there are some things which are very pleasant to our mind, um, like eating sweets, or overeating, indulging our senses in sense pleasure, watching movies, something that our senses can easily perceive and relish. They are in mode of passion, but the outcome is always bitter. If we eat too much, we'll have upset stomach. If we if we have any indulgence, it will have negative effect, or the bitter effect. Whereas in mode of ignorance, activities conducted in mode of ignorance, they are painful in the beginning and painful in the end. Indulging in drugs, intoxication, such activities are painful in the beginning and painful in the end. So, what sort of determination is in mode of passion? So we can see that a lot of students studying in university, what is the goal? What is the goal of their education? Mainly to, pass, get a degree or a certificate and go and get a job. So the determination is for the result. So the main difference is in the determination of mode of passion is done for a result. And once, if the site is lost of any result, then the determination is also lost. So that kind of determination is in mode of passion. So suppose I'm doing a job. Sorry, just one second. I'm doing a job and my employer says that, you will not get paid in this month. So immediately that will bring my motivation down, and my determination to work will be, very low, because I know that there are no results at the end of it. So this kind of determination is determination considered in mode of passion, because it is connected directly with the fruits, and we want some fruits out of any work that we are doing. So students have, you know I, I s- I was a student at one time, and the only goal I had was to get maximum marks, because once I get maximum marks, I will use those mark sheets to get into good college or good career. What is the goal of getting good career? Is ultimately to get good money, to have, you know uh, good earnings later in my life, in the future. I've seen many students, studying in very prestigious colleges like IIT, IIM in India, here London Business School. But the goal is to get money ultimately. They study engineering and they work in bank. They study engineering and they work in strategies in pharmaceutical company. So the goal was studying engineering was not to learn engineering, but ultimately earn, good money in multinational company. So this kind of motivation, or this kind of goal is, or determination, which is driven by the strong result, that kind of determination is considered in mode of passion. So there was an what kind of determination we should have. So Prabhupada ji says that some siddhi haritoshana. So all the best, some siddhi means all perfection can be attained just by pleasing the Lord. So that kind of determination we should have. So whatever activities we perform in our life, we should think, is this activity going to please the Lord? If it does, then that determination is the right kind of determination. If it does not, then it is not the right kind of determination. So just a small story that I would like to share with you. There was one man who was a millionaire, and he lived in a massive mansion, and he had few watchmen to guard the mansion, and he was very possessive about his house, and he did not like anyone, doing any graffitis on his walls. So as soon as he if any watchman sees anyone writing anything on the wall or making graffiti, he would catch and punish that person. So one day there was an artist who saw this wall, and he thought, how can I get attention of this millionaire in a right way? So he called a lot of his friends and said, does anyone want to write anything on this wall? And everyone said, no, we don't want to write, because if we write, this watchman will catch us and then punish us for doing that. So this boy still challenged everyone that I challenge you that I will write something on the wall and still I will get rewarded. So everyone said, okay, let's make a bet, or let's see whether you get that. So he got a pen or a paint and wrote something on the wall. The watchman immediately caught him. It was brought to the person's attention. He came out, he looked at the wall, and instead of punishing him, he rewarded him.
You have a key for the house front door?
Yeah.
Sir, 1 second. I think someone's. Yeah. So what did the artist write on the wall? The artist write that on the wall, saying that warning: do not write anything here. So this notice was something that was what the millionaire wanted, or he wanted that warning for everyone that they should not write on that wall. So just by writing, do not write here, he actually got favor from the person, saying that, oh, good, you're protecting my wall by writing that. So similarly, this material world is Krishna's property. And if we act in a way that pleases to Krishna, then we will not get punished by Maya Devi, who is the watchman or who is the guardian of this material world. And so one has to have developed a determination that is favorable to the Lord. Now, determination, we have to dovetail our determination in the service of Lord. So externally, it may look same what a devotee is doing and a non-devotee is doing, but the whole results and outcome is different. Just like a student who's going to college, he's a devotee as well. So he's also studying, he's studying all the subjects in the college, but at the same time, he's chanting the holy name. He also wants to pass. He's working hard to get good marks so he can get a good job, or, get good career progression. But on the other hand, he's also conscious that the goal of my life is to serve the Lord. So he's chanting the holy name, studying Srila Prabhupada's books, trying to preach and inspire other students in the college to, do the same. So the activity may look same. So there are two, say, roommates in a college hostel. One is a devotee, one is non-devotee. They both are studying long hours. They both are studying hard, but the results they both will attain will different. One person, because who is not connected with the Lord, he will get entangled in, the material activities, material karma, and have a different result. Whereas this person, because he's also a devotee and is chanting the holy name, he will get purified and purified with all his material activities and achievement. He will be liberated from this material world and go back to the spiritual world in the service of the Lord. So similarly, if you see the externally, if someone is seeing and they don't know the activities of these two individuals, then one's determination to serve the Lord, preach the holy name, or chanting and studying along with his material academics will attain absolutely different result. Whereas the other person who is, studying just for one's better life, or, for material possessions, that person will have a different output or outcome. Similarly, someone, say for example, a housewife, someone is a devotee housewife and someone who is not devoted to Lord, the activities are same. They both will be looking after their children, their families, maintaining their houses, cooking, shopping, cleaning, everything. They would be doing externally the same kind of activities, but internally the person who's devoted to the Lord, she will cook, offer it to Krishna, give it to her family. That prasadam will purify their minds, their hearts. Everyone in the family will get purified, including herself. She would probably, invite her friends or relatives, friends, neighbors, give prasadam. So by doing the same kind of activity, although the determination here is to please the Lord by distributing the prasadam, distributing the holy name, the determination is different, so the result will be completely different. Like, people working in corporate world, working in corporate world on very senior positions, many leadership roles, they are, you know, working on strategic consultancy roles. So many devotees that I know, they are very, very senior, roles where they are guiding many big organizations, banks in their future strategies. Whereas there are many people who are not devotees and they're doing the same role. But it's a gulf of difference between these two individuals because of that difference in determination. And people can make out the true leadership. The person who's a devotee will be very soft hearted in a way, how managing different, taking decisions, strategical decisions, servant leadership. There are a lot of terminologies which are used in even in corporate world, where you know the devotees, many devotees I know work at that level. So the determination here again is to dedicate life and earning and resources in service of the Lord, like Arjuna and Duryodhan example. Duryodhan wanted to fight that battle to have the kingdom for himself to enjoy, whereas Arjuna was fighting for the pleasure of the Lord and for Krishna's pleasure. So the results that they got were completely different. Duryodhan, although had bigger army, had great warriors on his side, all great fortune, but he lost everything. But at the same time, Arjuna had smaller army, but because Krishna was on his side, and his determination was Karishe Vachanam Tava. I will do whatever pleases you, Krishna. Although it was very difficult for Arjuna to fight against his grandfather, his uncles, his teacher, Dronacharya, Guru, Kripacharya, all these great leaders. It was very difficult for Arjuna to fight. But Arjun said to Krishna, Karishe Vachanam Tava. I will do whatever you say, Krishna. And that's why he was glorious, he was victorious. So the determination that one should cultivate, that determination should be always to please the Lord. And there's one more story that comes to me from Ramayana. So this is when Lord Ram uh, met Sugriv. And when Lord Ram met Sugriv, Sugriv was very doubtful that about Lord Ram's ability to fight with Vali, because Sugriv was so afraid of Vali that Vali was constantly chasing him to kill him. And Sugriv was hiding in a place where Vali could not come. So when Hanuman brought Lord Ram, Lakshman, to Sugriv, so he introduced them, and he said that he's Prince of Ayodhya, he's Ram, son of Dasharath. He's super. He has uh, previously killed so many demons. So everything, he gave a good introduction. But even after that, Sugriv was not so convinced of Lord's powers. So then he showed Lord Ram 7 tall trees, and he said, if your arrow can pierce all these trees, then I can have some assurance that your arrow can pierce Vali's, strong chest. So Lord Ram, being so kind and compassionate, he still complied, and he proved to Sugriv that he could still, he has the ability. So when Lord shot the arrow, it pierced not only one but 7 trees at once. Then the arrow went down underground. It went all the way to Patal Lok, came back, and went back to um, Lord Squiver. So when Sugriv saw that, he was really mesmerized, and he said, "Oh my goodness, that never I've seen that before in my life. So he must be a really good art, at art. Should He's very powerful." Then he said he was still not convinced. Then he said that when Vali killed a demon before, I'm trying to recollect the demon's name. He threw his carcass, and that carcass came this far and fell here. Now, if you can move that carcass as well with your strength, I just want to see how much strength you have. So then Lord Ram, just by his kick, he threw it very, very far. Then Sugriv was convinced. So after all that, Sugriv is fully convinced, and then he went to fight with Vali. Vali and Sugriv fought. In first fight, Lord Ram did not shoot Vali, and Sugriv was very badly injured, and he came back and he complained to Lord Ram, and he said, "Why did you ask me to go and fight with Vali when you knew that Vali was stronger than me and he was just about to kill me?" And then second time Lord Ram said, "How do I know? You both look so much so alike. You are twins. And what I didn't want to do is to shoot you instead of Vali. That's why I did not shoot you or shoot Vali in the first fight. Now I give you a garland, and then you go and then you fight with Vali." So Lord Ram gave him that garland, a garland of flowers, and he said, "Now you go and challenge Vali again." So what happened on Vali's side is when Sugriv challenged him again, then Vali's wife Tara, she told Vali that don't go now to fight. Vali said, "Why? I was about to kill him, but he escaped. This time I'll finish my business and come back." But Tara said that I have heard that he has got some allies with this prince Ram, who is very powerful. And in the past, he has killed very powerful demons. And I fear that Sugriv is protected by him. So please don't go and don't fight with him. So Vali said that, "Why should I fear of him? He's not my enemy. My enemy is my brother. And if I kill him, then Ram should not have any problem because I have no enmity towards Ram." And by saying that, he came. This time when he came, he saw Sugriv with a garland around his neck. And Vali still fought with him, and Lord Ram shot him by an arrow. Vali was, Vali fell on the ground, and he asked Lord Ram that what is the difference between me and Sugriv? We grew up together as monkeys. We are equally powerful, and we are equally sinful. I have never seen this Sugriv ever sitting and chanting your name. I have never seen him doing any pious activities. He's done exactly whatever I have done in my life. Then why are you favoring him over me? And what has he done to receive your favor? So the Lord said that although you have seen that he has taken my shelter and he had determination to serve me. You've seen that garland around his neck, but still, even after seeing his determination, you have tried to attack my devotee. And that is the result that I am punishing you. So we can see that although those both of them, they were monkeys, they did not have any austerities in their lives, but just because Sugriv showed some determination to serve the Lord, he took shelter of the Lord, and that way the Lord protected him. And the garland that he received, you know, that was actually the protection or the mercy of the Lord. So similarly, when the devotees, when they take initiation, they also get a garland and bead bags and neck beads from their spiritual master. So that is also a protection of the Lord that says that, now we belong to Krishna. So this was my, little humble presentation, which I think, what determination one should cultivate to please the Lord. If there are any questions or any comments we can take at this stage. Lokeshwar Prabhu.
Haribol Prabhu. How do you know I'm here?
I can sense.
Hare Krishna.
I wish it was you giving the class and me listening, but I just tried to comply with
No, Prabhu.
orders of seniors.
No. It was been amazing. I was busy all day. I couldn't contribute. Sorry, Prabhu. We enjoyed listening, Prabhu.
Any input from you about determination?
I think determination, I can only remember that one-pointed attention. Vivasatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana bahushaka anantasya buddhyo avyavasayina. That our attention should be one pointed, means that we should be focusing on Krishna. And if we are not focusing on Krishna, then our determination or our attention is bahushaka, is spread in many directions. So it is important that we are always focused in spiritual life with full determination, and the results will come. Now, I was listening that what is Bhagavad Dharma. Bhagavad Dharma is doing the karma yoga with full determination and doing proper sadhana. These two makes proper Bhagavad Dharma. And that determination, we also noticed that 2 finger too short, that our determination in that one finger shows our determination, and the second one is the mercy will come from Krishna. That's what I would like to add, Prabhu, on determination.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
You are a very determined person, I know.
Not at all, Prabhu.
I can give a separate class on your determination. So, thank you. Anyone else? Chandra Chaitanya Prabhu or anyone else wants to add something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much for such lovely class. Really nice examples. I thought they were so nice and simple. We could actually understand them. But I just wanted to share something about determination. I have a friend. He's kind of a devotee, and he has a restaurant. And throughout the pandemic, he has Polish sort of middle European kind of staff who work in the restaurant. And he has made this pledge that every Saturday he would have a Bhagavad Gita class for all his staff, and kind of mandatory. He can't make it mandatory, but he has said that everyone should attend that Bhagavad Gita class. And he was saying that putting Krishna in the center of his business like that has, he's excelled. During pandemic, all hospitality sort of businesses have suffered. But he says, you have no idea how much I have kind of excelled in my business, and I've been able to invest more. So it just shows that if you are determined to do something and put Krishna in the center of your business or your family life or any other aspects of your life, then the mercy and the kind of success just comes with it. And even if you don't get success, but you kind of, because you put him in the middle, then you're just grateful for whatever he's sending your way, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I thought it was such a nice determination that he has, that everyone has to learn Bhagavad Gita and everyone has to listen to Bhagavad Gita. And now he wants to introduce conscious cooking with all his back, the kitchen staff, so that he feels that he needs to just serve prasad to customers who come to his restaurant. I thought, yeah, such a simple thing to do, but it needs a lot of determination to put it into practice, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else wants to share something, their experience or anything about determination?
One thing I wanted to share about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, that, in these, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, that the significance of these things is there in everyone's life. Why they are there for us? It's a reason that we have that, for example, economic development, Artha and Kama, if they are done under religious practice, under some regulation, that's how this Dharma, Artha, Kama work together. And then these three, definitely for the economic development, sense gratification, we go for different degrees and everything. Ultimately, nobody has to teach us how to gratify the senses. And even Artha, nobody has to tell us that how to earn the money. We have that instinct inside to gratify the senses or earn the money. But we should do in more religious way. That's why these three things are here. But what is mentioned here, that determination by which one holds fast to the fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is in mode of passion. That's why it's in mode of passion. But if you are going to the moksha part, that is goodness. So as long as we are in this desire to earn money, desire to gratify the senses, even religion sometimes taken as that I want to go to the higher planet to enjoy. So that is, all are in mode of passion. I just wanted to add this for the context of this verse, that it is important to understand that we should remain in that discipline of religion. Otherwise, these things can go in different direction. Sorry, Prabhu.
No, thank you so much. Actually, I had missed that point. Dharma, Artha, and Kama. These are the three things mentioned in these words, but not moksha, because Lokeshwar Krishna Prabhu said that, these are the three things which it's not sinful to, not everything in mode of passion is sinful, but obviously it's a lot of different activities like, performed, even like karma kanda or so many things like people do to attain, the desired results. People do fasting, they do Satyanarayan Katha, so many different 16 Somvar Vrat, lot of different things are done, but they are in accordance with Vedic injunctions to attain the prosperity or attain the material desires. They are not bad, but they are in mode of that determination, which is driven towards the fruit, or fruitive inclination is considered in mode of passion. Okay, anyone else wants to? Palika Mataji, you want to add something?
Hare Krishna, Amritananda Prabhu. Thank you very much for your wonderful class. I was listening, and then the last part you mentioned, which I mean, like Shugrib and about Bali, that is, I mean, like a mode of passion. Like you, the last three things you mentioned: dharma, artha, kama. Moksha, as it's not for the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas aim is to surrender to Krishna's lotus feet, and that is our real purpose. Or whatever we do, if we do it to serve the Lord, that way we can purify ourselves, and we can reach the destination eventually by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. That is the little bit I wanted to mention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Very
true.
nice class. Thank you.
True. Anyone else? Chandrika Mataji, you want to add something?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, no, it's a great class, thank you. I just think we should all be determined, as we are, we always determined anyway, but in our day-to-day lives, but for Krishna, we should have that goal, that no matter what, we've got to keep going. I haven't got any much else to add. Everybody said lovely things so far. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So, a lot of people who have previously shown determination in this world, anything if we want to achieve requires determination, may it be spiritual or material, and a very strong determination, and without goal, nothing can be achieved. Like Dhruva Maharaj saw the Lord, he wanted, with a great determination. So to achieve anything, that determination is required. Devotee does not mean that have no inclination, no determination, no goal, doesn't want to achieve anything, laid back, lazy, not like that. Determination is very much required. And sometime when we also as devotees, we are trying to please the Lord, or we want to go back to spiritual world, or we want to get Krishna's see, we should be equally greedy for that kind of determination. That goal should be our primary goal. How I can please Krishna, how my chanting is so intense, or with my sadhana, how can I attract Krishna's mercy. We have to think deeply about our condition in this material world, that what pleasures I have got here, that I am not so attracted to Krishna. What is that which is pulling me back? What is here that you will not get by surrendering to Lord. The life is like a journey, and in this journey, like a train journey, you will have different passengers next to you all the time. That if you go for a long train journey, you'll have some set of passengers, then some of them will get off in after a few stations, then some other passengers will get on board, then some others will get off. So like that, we see in our life, we were born with grandparents, parents, uncle, aunties, lot of cousins, siblings, so many different things. But then over the period of time, from that train, lot of passengers have come off. They've left their journey stopped along the way. And if we see deeply in our life and see what is my relationship with Lord, I came here alone in this material world, and I will die alone. Nobody's going to come with me. Nobody came with me. Nobody's going to live with me. Throughout this journey, every individual I have met has left me and will leave me. No matter how hard I try to get hold of them, may it be my parents or my wife or my children, eventually all these things are going to, just, uh, you know, get out of our grips. And that only relationship which I will have is my relationship with the Lord. And that relationship can be revived only through chanting the holy name. And that's why when we chant the holy name, we should put our, heart and soul in chanting the holy name. We should chant more than, what we normally do. Like, why stop at 16? We should chant more rounds. We should, by chanting this holy name, we can actually, understand our spiritual connection with the Lord. Now, the whole purpose of studying all the scriptures so that we can chant the holy name. If we don't chant the holy name properly or not enough, then that purification will happen very slow. Just like when we want to learn to drive, then you have to put in extra hours. If you drive every day 5 minutes, you will not become a good driver. You have to drive for hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then you will become a good driver and very quick. Similarly, with chanting, we have to increase our number of rounds. We chant more. By chanting more, we develop taste for chanting. And by developing taste for chanting, then we'll develop taste for hearing and also reading. Whatever we read and hear will stick in our heart if we are chanting the holy name. If we don't chant Krishna's name, then all we have 2 ears conveniently come from one ear, go out from the other ear. So nothing will stick in our heart. So that's why it is very important that we chant the holy name and whenever possible, increase your chanting, increase your rounds wherever, even those attentive rounds you chant in the morning. If you are going out, anywhere, shopping or anywhere, just take a counter in your hand, chant on the counter, chant more rounds, while walking. Uh, that way your mind will be peaceful. We will, otherwise our mind will think about 100 things. We'll think about who told me this, who told me about that, what is she doing, what is he doing, all kind of nonsense, who said me this before 10 years. All these things will come. But if we have this habit of chanting even while walking around, moving things, then our mind will remain very peaceful. So it's just everything is a humble request that all the determination and everything will come just by chanting the holy name. And all we have proven facts in our history that so many people have attained perfection, including Srila Prabhupada. He started the whole mission of ISKCON by chanting the holy name. Whoever has chanted in their life, they have achieved the glorious results in their life. Shabri, by chanting Lord Ram's name, the Lord personally visited her in the middle of the forest where even humans were not going. That forest was infested with demons. And that forest, Shabri stayed and chanted the holy name, and Lord appeared there to satisfy her. Madhavendra Puri, every single acharya that we have in our parampara, they have achieved everything by chanting the holy name. So my request is that, please chant the holy name, and you're determined with the great determination, and that way we can please the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also focused on chanting the holy name. So it's just a humble request and closing note. I'm conscious that we have our time's up. Okay, so anyone wants any other comments or any feedback, or then if not, okay, if not, then we'll stop our session here today. Thank you so much. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Haribo.
Thank you,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
so much.
Thank you,
Wonderful class.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful class.
Haribol.
Thank you for the wonderful class.
Hare Krishna.